Hey everyone, this is Vanessa Green with OKC Face Painter, and I am talking to you today about the differences between a dual action standard siphon feed airbrush and a ZeroG single action quick change system. Which ZeroG is just one name. There's a couple of other companies that have similar systems. Stencils carries a similar system, and the other one I believe is the original maker in Taiwan. Can't remember the name, but if you go to Facebook groups and join ZeroG 2.0, you can find all the information you would ever want about all of this, including other videos that I have posted for instructional purposes, and several other people who have been doing this for years and years using this system. So let's get to it. All right, those of you who have never seen one of these before or never airbrushed before, I'm going to walk you through this and why I hate it. And I hate it with the passion of 1,000 fiery suns. This is my arch nemesis. I can't stand it. I started airbrushing about, I want to say 4 years ago to help out a friend as backup. And I could not stand this. I hardly ever used it. I might have done jobs 3, maybe 4 times in a year because I hated it so much. And with this system, oh my gosh, I think I actually like it better than face paint now. And there may be some face painters here that have tried airbrushing and they got too frustrated with the problem shooting that is involved. So they just gave up and wasted a whole lot of money and investment. This will make all the difference, I promise you. Okay, so first things first. If you are in a remotely humid environment, you need one of these. This is a moisture trap. You have one usually on compressors, that's true, but this one is perfect because this is always on your fingertips, so you can remember to depress this, and so the pressure from the air goes through here, moisture collects here, and when you press that down, the pressure releases all the moisture, so it spits all over you, which feels really weird, by the way, but it helps to keep from water going through your lines, and you know that this paint and water do not mix. So, very important. So, all right, you have one of these on, right? Takes up a lot of space. So you have one of these little jar things that comes with your guns. And you're like, oh, I can just attach that. Yeah, we can just attach, that's fine. Nope, wait, what? It's not fitting. What? I can't get it in there. Yeah, you know why? Because this thing's huge. So then you get one of these adapter siphon pieces that goes into your bottles, which I love, by the way. When I did this, I actually like that. And you have to force it on. Pretend you're the Hulk. Get mad. I don't know. So you get it on there. And as you can see, it kind of pushes this at a slightly odd angle. What eventually happens is this starts to separate its seal, which means it can leak, but also means it will just pop the heck out eventually. And then you have to get a whole new piece because it's just too worn down. So, not ideal. Ugh, get out of there, you silly. I'm not going to cuss. I'm not going to say bad words. There we go. As you can see, it's just as hard to take off. When you do take it off, if you've been using it, pressure will build up right here and you take it off and it splurts all over the place. It sucks. So many reasons. So many reasons I hate this. All right, going on. When you are getting ready for a job or finishing a job, you have to clean this out every time. Otherwise, you will have clogging issues. It's just going to happen. As you can see, this and this, these are two different working parts. This is a working part. This, once it comes off, this is a working part. This is a working part. So you have all these little teeny tiny parts that have to be maintained, cleaned, not lost, as can happen sometimes, or damaged. So first of all, you would take one of these with some clear rubbing alcohol and you would put it in there and you would run this alcohol through the system to try and get as much paint out as possible. And then you would take this off and you clean that with these little scrubby guys. And then you would have to push this down because if you lose this, oh man, like if it comes out, it's such a pain to put back in. And it turns real easy. So you have to push that down to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. And you loosen this up. And you take your needle out and you got to clean the needle, and then you've got to lubricate the needle, and you've got to make sure that you do not damage the tip of the needle when you put it back in or while you're playing with it and cleaning it and everything, because if that gets bent even a little bit, it has to be replaced. It screws the whole thing up. And then you put it back in, and yay, hey look, it didn't just detach. Great. So if you have it detached, oh my gosh, it's such a pain to put it back together. Then you can start again. And that's just setting up. If you're breaking down, you're going to want to clean this out really well. You're going to want to clean these out really well. You're going to take these off and take those little brushes right there and clean this barrel really well, which goes almost all the way up to here, because paint goes through this gun. It just fills up in all these different little tiny crevices and everything. And no matter how deep a clean you do, you might still have paint in there. You might still clog. It is a pain. I absolutely hate it, as I've said. So it would take me probably around 20 minutes per gun almost to clean these at the end of every shift, and at least 10 minutes per gun before a shift to prep it. And so I would be there long after the organizers had already shut down the events, and they'd be pretty mad at me. So hated. Okay, let's go on to why the ZeroG is better. Now, the only thing that dual action guns do better than the ZeroG. Dual action guns have precision. So when you're using these, you can make little teeny tiny dots. You can make little thin lines. You can fade out really, really well, very easily. You can do all sorts of crazy things with this. Can't really with this, because this is a single action. That's the only action it has. You can't pull back on the trigger. You can't adjust anything. There's just spray. That's it. But paint doesn't go through this, so you don't have to clean the gun. That's amazing, right? Okay, so that's one piece, right? You don't have to do anything with this. I'm not even sure what it does, to be honest. That's it. Maybe if paint accidentally got in there because you spilled some in there, I don't know. As long as that's tight, and I don't even know what this does, but as long as that's tight, this is on, everything's good. You're Gucci. So where does the paint come from? Oh, cartridges. Okay. So these cartridges each hold different kinds of paint, or different colors. See? And you just slide this in here. There's a little rubber gasket right there. You want to make sure that it's completely seated, so it's all the way down, so that there's a seal from that gasket. And what you do is you loosen this up just a little bit so that you can turn it real easily with your finger. Just loosen that up. But you don't open it yet. You turn the air on, and then you open it. Okay, I haven't cleaned this one in a while, so this will give you a good example of what happens. See how it kind of dots and it's sputtering? That's what happens when you don't clean it, because it's clogged. I haven't used these in a little over a week. I didn't shake this up first, and I didn't clean it. So those are your only troubleshooting. Let me show you what it looks like if you have one that is clean and shook up. Hold on, where did I put it? White? No, we'll use red, I guess. Nope, there's my white. Aha. So white, as you know, is the bane of all airbrushing existence. I added a little prolong to my white every time I've used it, so it thins it out just a tiny bit. You shake, 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 shake your booty, shake your booty. Yes, I sing this in front of children, but you shake this a lot before your job, and throughout your job it'll help quite a bit. If it starts to have issues, it's almost always because it needs to be shaken up, because the sediment will settle down in here. All the paint pigments will settle down in here, and it will start to clog. So if it's not clogged, this is what it looks like. Nice and smooth, absolutely beautiful. So the only way you can adjust the amount of paint that comes out is you just barely open it, and you'll start to see just like, oh, I guess I do need to shake that. I've done 3 of these videos, sorry. Okay, so fine mist coming out. Oh, alright. This really sucks. I hate it when this happens, like, live. We might be clogged. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, let's try it again. Okay. Nope, still doing it. Alright, well anyway, you can do a fine mist. Let's try red. Alright. So barely open it, you get a little tiny mist, so you can do your fade outs. The more you open it, look at that. Yeah, darker and darker it gets. So that's what that does. Alright, so say we want to clean it before a job. You know, you're prepping. Obviously you shake it really well. And then you get some kind of, I usually use wet wipes, and I cover the tip because you don't want the pressure spurting the paint all over your customer's nice, fantastic paintings, fine arts, or white carpets. Why do people get white carpet? I just never understand that. Anyway, so clean off the tip. So this is the needle. Look at that nice, thick, sturdy needle. Completely different from the other system, right? There is a hole where the paint comes out, as you can see. And that's that. And then there's the housing piece, which you want to clean the bottom, because it'll leak. The housing piece, right here, it just protects the needle. That's really all it's for, and refines the amount of paint that comes out. So you can get smaller cartridge needles. This is a 0.7, which means that I can clean this out with a sewing needle. You'd have to use a guitar string for anything smaller. I think it goes to 0.5 and 0.3 as well. I've never tried the smaller ones, but I hear you can get some more precision from them. So you put the needle in, you clean off the tip so you're not dragging the paint that's there back through, and you just do this a few times. Ooh, darn it, knocked over my cartridge. There you go. And so then you've unclogged the tip. You put this back on. And then you immediately, whoa, how did that happen? That's weird. Then you immediately start spraying. And look, it's not clogged anymore. It's running perfectly smooth. You want to keep the air running as you open and as you close. And then clean the tip. I think I might have already said that, but it's really important, so I'll just keep saying it. Anyway, so that is all the prep work you need before you start your job. That's it. It takes maybe 10 minutes for all 10 of my cartridges to clean them up and get them ready. Or no, 20 minutes. I'm sorry, 20 minutes. So 2 minutes per cartridge to get them prepped and ready. And the only troubleshooting you're going to have is shaking or cleaning off that tip again if you need to. That's it. That's all. If you have done all of the cleaning and the shaking and all the prep work and you're still having issues, it could be your pressure. Okay? Because if you're a standard airbrush user, you use a lower pressure than what you would need for this gun. This gun needs higher pressure. If I'm using a CO2 tank, I go anywhere between 20 and 30. If I am using a compressor, I go anywhere from 18 and 25. It just depends on if you're doing, you know, arm tattoos or inks or hybrids or face, you know, that you adjust for all of that. Okay, so say you want to deep clean it. First of all, cover, as I said, because we don't want splurting. All right. So the working parts to this, there are really only 3. There's the gun itself, the needle, and then the housing. And that's all you have to maintain and clean. So when you're cleaning this as a deep clean, which I only do this maybe once every 2 or 3 months if I need to, you just take whatever spray bottle you have full of alcohol and you spray in there. I don't know if you can see it leaking out the bottom there. See it? Okay. If it is clogged, then it will settle. And then what you do is you get one of these little guys which if you're an airbrush artist, you probably already have. If you aren't, you need to get them. You can find them on any Amazon website, or any website really that has airbrushing stuff. Anyway, you scrub that out and all the way down, and you spray. And you do that as many times as you need to until it's completely clean and runs clear. And then you wipe it down. Sometimes I will use a cotton swab to get these extra pieces in there and get that cleaned out. And that's it. You just make sure your needle is clear, which you can run a needle through that. So make sure that hole is clear. And then you do the same thing with this. You spray, and then you get the largest scrubby. You go in here and you scrub. And you do that as many times as you need to until it's clear. And of course you go through with the needle again. You can put these through a small machine parts cleaner, one of the ones that vibrates, I believe. I have friends that do that, and that might help. I don't think it's going to hurt any of the parts if you do that. The only thing it might do is wear down these little rubber gasket pieces. There's one here and there's one here. And you can get replacements online. I get mine from the same place I got my gun, which is European Body Arts. But I believe that Clayton from Stencils also has them, as does the original manufacturer of this, which is J Airbrush. So it's like the letter J airbrush. J Air, I think it's just J Air actually. But they're the originals and they're in Taiwan. If you go to the Facebook group ZeroG 2.0, again, I'm not sure if I already said that, but join that group, and there's instructions for a lot of the stuff and tips and products and all sorts of things that we talk about in there. And I have several videos, so it's very helpful. Anyway, here we go. All nice and clean again. All right. Now you're saying I'm at the end of this. How do I store it? Do I have to clean those? No, you don't have to clean them at the end. You just close them. That's it. And then you put them in your handy dandy case. Now this is my ZeroG case. This is 2 inches of foam that I cut out specific little places for all the cartridges and for my guns. And like I even have, if you have a moisture, or if you're using a compressor, you want to use a moisture trap and hide areas, so put it right there. And gun goes right there. And so then I take this metal piece right here, and I just cover it up and seal it, and everything's good. So how do you store them when you are working, right? Well, you can buy different kinds, but this is the one I have because it's my favorite thing in the whole wide world. This is from Megan McKenna, who is also in our Facebook group. And she has these made. So they each hold the cartridges, and you can get as many as you want in there. I bent this. It's not supposed to be bent, but I bent this just so it'll fit in my case with I put my paint brushes over here usually. So that would give you one more cartridge if you didn't bend it. This slides out of this piece, which she has adhesive on the back that you can use, or there's these little drill holes, whichever you prefer. Some people put magnets on these, and then you can store it. And you put this back in whenever you're, darn it. Slide, darn you. Sometimes it sticks. Oh, why? Okay, there we go. Anyway, and then when you want to pick one up, you just, sorry. Come here. You just do that. And then you make sure it's fully seated. You got to push it all the way down to make sure that gasket is engaged. And then you open it and start painting. And then when you want to put it away, just like that. So one-handed, you can do this, right? It's great because you have to have the other hand to hold stencils. So when I did this, there is like a little piece at the end here that you can attach like a holder to. But what I do is I put these little command hooks up here. That's it. Ta-da. Because I'm weird and I'm cheap. So, anyway, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I have to tell you about this. I think that's pretty much it. But I will tell you, this has changed my world. It takes 10 minutes to break down, 20 minutes to set up. It's extremely portable. I take this to every birthday. I take it to all of my restaurant gigs. I can take it anywhere, take it to festivals. It all works the same. It's so fantastic. I can't even tell you. It's changed my world. I have used this every week for a little over a year, and it's made me so much money. It's a little bit of an investment to start, but it will make you that money back. I promise you. And it's worth it because these are good quality products. They last, they don't get damaged easily. I bought mine from European Body Arts. Honestly, their prices are the highest, but their customer service is friggin' fantastic. Like, if you drop these, which I highly suggest you get 2, and I know it's pricey, but I highly suggest you get a backup one. If you drop these, it can put this out of alignment just a little bit. The older versions, it was much harder. This is quite a bit more stationary, I should say, but it can still happen. And so I sent this back to European Body Arts for them to adjust. And if they can't adjust it, if it's just damaged beyond being able to repair it, then they replaced it for me. So yeah, that level of customer service I will keep for the extra money that I pay. You can check with Clayton. He might have a similar system. I haven't talked to him about it, but he's a great guy, so I would not be surprised if he didn't have a similar customer service system. Anyway, I hope that this gave you some great insight, and start saving your pennies if you're interested, because this is well worth the purchase. And thanks for listening and watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.